Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent here, and I wanted to take a look with you at this quick footage of a home that's located in LaGrange, Illinois. We're looking at a rear addition of the home, and as you can see, mold is developed all over the walls. The floor tiles are all loose, and mold has developed on the personal belongings in this addition. The purpose of this video really was to address something that we get all the time, and that is that people have mold issues and they're not quite sure what the moisture source is. They just don't know why they're getting moisture. In this addition, the walls have very little insulation in them, and so what's happening in the winter time is that the ice cold air is penetrating into the surface of the drywall, and the heated warm air is actually reaching those ice cold surfaces in the against the wall, and then you're condensating. You can see here as we look up at the ceiling that there's some water that's condensed on the ceiling, and that water is actually dripping on our head as we're standing here. So I wanted to kind of look at why mold grows, what does it need, and kind of try to address some of these issues. In terms of what mold needs to grow, you've got to have a food source, so anything that is high in cellulose, building materials, and a lot of your personal belongings, moisture, and then favorable conditions. Now when we look at a food source, we're talking about, again, organic materials, so dust, dirt, debris, trees, and much of your building materials in your home are made of those products. Drywall, for instance, trim, the paper backing on the insulation, and that goes right along with cellulose products. And then it kind of it falls in the category of things that are porous as well. These are items that can act as a food source for mold. Now, in terms of possible moisture sources, the obvious ones are always leaks. When you have a roof leak or you have a pipe leak, then it's going to be isolated to that area the mold growth will be. But when you get into high humidity and condensation, you get humidity mostly in the summertime, condensation we see a lot with the temperature differentials in the winter. These are areas where it gets a little bit more dicey in trying to determine exactly what the problem is. But as we've seen in this previous footage, condensation certainly will create mold growth. And then we talk about favorable conditions. So again, the high humidity levels, large amounts of organic material like dust, debris. You see at the top of the baseboards there's a lot of mold. That's because there was a lot of dust that was built up there, and once that moisture gets going and the temperatures are right, it'll start to develop on the organic material again, and then stagnant air. And then lastly, what I wanted to do was I wanted to throw a clip real quick up of what proper mold remediation looks like. Now, this is not the same space, but in this basement, there was mold on the drywall, much like there was in that addition we showed. We came in, we removed all of the porous material that was affected. So the drywall, the trim, and the insulation in this basement were physically removed, bagged, the bags were tied, they were discarded, and they were removed from the property altogether. Then when we get down to the the semi-porous and the non-porous materials, so the wood and the concrete, we scrub them down, we treat them with a biocide, we put it on a mold-resistant coating, and we run the air through HEPA filtration to make sure we get the air clean.